Panopoly Media, a jumpstart to media-rich Drupal. So with Drupal 8, media is a part of core. It has been a part of core for quite some time now. It's been in experimental mode as of this past week. Drupal 8.0 was released. So now it's an official thing, even though people have been using it for quite some time. So the initiative has been going on for years. I'm trying to standardize on a basic way to handle media within Drupal. More and more websites are using media. It feels like every Drupal 8 site that I've worked on has used media to some extent. So this is the solution that we've come to with Panopoly for handling media. So this is me. Everybody here knows me pretty much, but a Chicago-based Drupal developer, do a lot of consulting work for various companies in the area. Recently, I joined with WYSIWYG. We're working on a platform where we use this Panopoly Media functionality quite a bit. And you can find me on the various Drupal and social medias at Careside. So, Panopoly is a widely used Drupal distribution. Primarily, it's been Drupal 7 functionality. It's being ported to Drupal 8. There's the things that aren't quite ready yet. There's particularly the layout aspect of it using panels versus the core layout. There's some things that haven't been decided there. But the general strategy in the meantime is to get a set of useful submodules that ship with it. And the media module that we're going to show you here today is one of those things. And this is the module. So the objectives for this presentation is going to show you how to use Panopoly Media to get a working solution, how to understand the basic way Drupal's dealing with media, give you a landscape of what's going on with Trib, with the various modules that help deal with media, and then how we can use Panopoly Media and then customize it from there to suit the needs of particular projects. So we're going to talk about what core does, what Panopoly Media gives us, do a quick demo, and have some time for a Q&A afterwards. Also, feel free to jump in if you have any questions, if something I'm talking about doesn't seem right or not specific enough, but by all means, jump in and we'll discuss it. We're all friends, right? Okay, so the primary use cases of media in Drupal, we want to give our editors a way to create various media assets that we use throughout the site. We also want a library of these assets that we can manage and then reuse throughout our content. The way we're going to use this in the content is through fields, so MD reference fields where we're going to reference media entities, as well as the ability to embed them into WYSIWYG. And then the last part is actually delivering our media to the end user. Any questions?
Okay. So I have a question. So
Yes.
by media, are you referring to videos and photos, or is it more than that?
I mean, it can be anything really. So the core ships with files and images, and what we're going to show you in the distribution here is the ability to use embedded video also. So that's going to be YouTube and Vimeo type videos. In theory, you could use all sorts of other media. Anything you can put in a field that's media-ish could be delivered to the user as media. So the core media handling basically just gives us media entities. These are just standard Drupal entities, just like any other entity. We can put fields on them, just like any other fields on any other entities. So the media comes with a name, and then it comes with some type of source field. We've got the ability to put additional fields on it, and also the media functionality, or excuse me, the entity functionality. We get view modes for rendering it, as well as form modes, form displays for editing it and creating it. And then the one kind of extra piece of functionality that media has is this notion of source plugins. So this is one of the fields on the media entity itself is designated as a source field. For instance, on the image media entity, there's an image field, which then we can use as the media itself. For instance, this image field has dimensions, it could have resolution, it could have any other information that is included with it. We could then use as additional field data or as needed when delivering the media. All right, so the core functionality in terms of actually managing the media data is fairly good, but the part that's not so great about it is the user experience. So what we get here is the out-of-the-box core experience. We've got the standard entity form for creating, editing media. It's just like any other entity form. And then the way this would normally get utilized is with an entity reference field. What's not so great here is, so if this is our entity reference field on a node, we've essentially got a two-step process. We'd have to go into the back end, create our media, and then come into our node that we're crafting and reference it via our entity reference field. This is functional, but it's not ideal for a couple reasons. One is that two-step process, and two is when we're actually using it in our field here, this is just really not useful. It's not helpful. It's going to be difficult for editors to be able to find what they're looking for to create these businesses. The one thing Core does give us that's very useful is the media library. So all of our existing media is available in view. We can manage it, edit it, we can create new stuff. Once again, it's not super useful in terms of crafting content. One thing that Core does do well is the rendering of content. So it's this media is an entity, the media itself is in a field, so all of the standard entity field rendering applies. It's reusable, and we can deliver it to the user fairly seamlessly in terms of general Drupal content. So once again, Core gives us the ability to create media assets, although it's not great because of that two-step process we just discussed. We've got the library of existing media, which is functional. It's just not useful to editors in the context of creating content. So that's any reference field. It doesn't give us the ability to use this in the WYSIWYG at all. It does give us the ability to render it to the end users. So in terms of solutions on how to handle this, the Drupal 7 way of handling this was just to put fields on our content, right? If our node has an image, we would put an image field on it, and we'd use that. The main limitation is we can't use additional attributes from that image for much of anything. We don't have the ability to reuse it either. So if two nodes use the same image, we end up creating the same image twice. Just a problem with duplication of data. Nobody uses Drupal 7 anymore. So another option is to do it yourself, and this is the amazing maze of media in Drupal. Where do we start? And then with Panopoly Media, we're going to give you a starting point. So it's essentially a out-of-the-box working solution for the files and image type media, and then the embedded video like we discussed. We've got this reusable media library. That's the core library, but it's also in the context of creating content, so we can select our media while we're working with the nodes. And we can easily create and selecting during content creation. We can get it into the WYSIWYG. So there's a lot of different options in terms of arranging your content. So Drupal 7 had panels. People are using paragraphs, sorts of different things for dealing with their layouts. This will actually let us keep our main content, like a body field, for instance, and put media right inside of it. And then this is just a starting point, and you can always make changes to it to suit whatever specific project you have. Okay. Any questions? All right, so the Panopoly Media itself, once again, it's just a module. It's hosted on Drupal.org. It's part of the Panopoly distribution. It can be used independently of Panopoly. It contains mostly just configuration, YAML files for configuration for your site. We install the module, the configuration gets applied. It's got some dependencies for other contrib modules that we're going to go through momentarily that give you this functionality. And then there's a bit of custom glue code. It does some minor alterations to a few things and just makes it a better experience. So the configuration that comes with Panopoly Media, once again, we've got our media entities, fields, view modes, form displays. So we take the core media types, we add the video type, and then we make some adjustments to the core types as well. Comes with some entity browser configuration, which we'll see. That's what we're going to use to create and select our media. And then also the entity WYSIWYG embed functionality. So this is the entity browser, is what you're seeing in front of you. It's actually, the entity browser gives us this modal. So this is a field widget that would be used on a node, for instance. So the field widget, when you go to enter in your entity reference value, instead of doing an autocomplete or checkboxes or whatever widget you may have, there's an alternative widget, which is this entity browser. Opens in a modal. There's some other options on how to, it doesn't have to be in a modal, it can be in the page, for instance. Then the media entity browser provides a view and some minor tweaks that go along with that in terms of selecting your media. So this image right here is the one we've selected, for instance, and this makes a nicer experience. So the entity browser also provides the ability to create media from within this modal. So we've got, this is the Dropzone JS widget. Dropzone is a well-known JavaScript library for uploading media, images mostly, and from there you actually can drag your files right in the box, or you can select them through your normal dialog, and it will show up here. You've got the ability to edit some fields on it and whatnot, create it right in this modal, and then select it for use to populate your entity reference field. Some additional stuff that's included here is the video embed field. That's what we're using to integrate the YouTube and Vimeo. So it allows you to take a URL, reference a video on YouTube or Vimeo. Drupal will then treat it as media. There's a submodule that provides the source functionality. Panopoly Media also utilizes Panopoly Images, which has a standard set of image presets that are used throughout the media handling. For instance, the preview, you upload an image and get it into your the Dropzone upload. You have the ability to see the preview, the thumbnail of the image in there. And then the Panopoly WYSIWYG is not technically a dependency of Panopoly Media, but that's the actual WYSIWYG embedded functionality that also makes the media usage useful. So not technically a dependency, but it's got configuration that sets up your text formats and your CK editor to have the embed button. So once again, just to get this going, it's just a module pulled off Drupal.org. Just get it installed like a normal module. It's got dependencies that will have to be met. If you're using composer-based installation, it will pull that in for you. Otherwise, you'll have to pull a couple of things yourself to go along with it. And then it's got the configuration that would apply when it installs. All right. So, who's ready for a demo? Yeah. All right, so to start off, are there any requests? Just do the media. Do the media. Okay, so we saw the media library on one of the slides earlier. So if we jump into our content administration screen, you'll notice there is a, as soon as it's done here, our caches are clear. All right, so why this is going, does anybody have any questions about anything we've discussed? Eric?
I'm just curious, how does Panopoly Media compare with Lightning Media?
I've not used Lightning. Have you used it, Dave?
So they were doing media before the core media stuff was there. I don't know if they've transitioned to the core media now. But I imagine it's very, very similar. So the Lightning Media in Drupal 7 came from the Panopoly Media in Drupal 7. So I'd imagine the Drupal 8 one is similar at this point. I'm not sure.
Live demos always go perfect.
I know. I just walked through this.
This is a logo?
It is. So Eric and I were discussing some media a little bit earlier today about non-core media or media 1.0. I'm not sure exactly what the right terminology is to go, but this is essentially just a core media-based solution. If you want to use this, you're going to have to be at Drupal 8.4 or higher. What's going on here? Oops. Is there perhaps another environment? Oh, here we go. So just as soon as we're about to give up on this one, here it goes. So the media library, once again, what we saw earlier, is under the content administration menu, media. Got various pieces of media, existing media in here, videos, files, images. Got the ability to come in here and edit these. This is a video type media. It's got the name. It's got the URL to the media. Could have a description. The Panopoly Media comes with tags also to tag your media if you'd like to utilize that functionality. So from here, we can actually come in and create some content. You can see this in action. So if we were to create a news post, right in here we can add a featured image. So this is our entity browser functionality. We've got this view that's here to select our existing media. We've got the ability to upload images here. This is our Dropzone plugin. We can select a new piece of media and actually create the entity from it. So we dragged it in there, and here it filled out our form with the name. We can add alt text. Kind of forced to add alt text. Same type of information that you see on the media page. This particular form can be customized if you wanted to pare it down a little bit, so there's not so much for content editors there. Yes?
So is this all out of the box once you enable the module and its dependencies? This is the way it looks and everything?
That's correct. So it's all just the standard media entity type stuff. You can go in through the admin screens and adjust the form, adjust the fields, adjust how it renders, everything like that.
But you don't have to. At this stage, this is just installed. You have some media added, and without any other configuration, this is where we're at. That's
correct. So this is literally just a fresh install of a Drupal site with the Panopoly Media installed on top of it. So we'll add our alt text, and we can come in here, select our media. We'll see it populates into the featured image field. And we can finish creating our views. And you can see here's our newly created node with the featured image. So this is, once again, just standard field rendering. This is a little crazy looking, just the dimensions of this image, but you could use image styles to format it however you desire. One of the big things we were discussing a little bit earlier was the WYSIWYG embedding. So we'll come in here, we'll edit this, I'll show you how that works. Once again, the WYSIWYG is not technically included in this. You'll have to set up your input format and your CK editor to use the embedded widget. So here, this is implemented using this image icon. So you can see we can use existing media just like the other one, or we can use images, files, or videos here as well. So one thing that's probably kind of common is putting videos inside of your content. So let me pull up a video. So we've got the video entity in there now. This dialog actually gives us a few options to do more things with it. We can align it, we can give it a caption, whatever we need to. We'll just leave it at none for now, and we'll embed it. And then if you look in the body, it's a little blown out for this field. You can see we've got the YouTube video embedded right in the WYSIWYG.
What about doing media files like MP3s or MP4s, that sort of thing?
So that's definitely doable. Most people choose not to host things like that on the Drupal site, just for dealing with large file sizes and streaming and things like that, but it is doable. I know there is a video, there's a module out there that provides a video source plugin for the media, to where you can upload a video file and it will treat it as a locally hosted file that media will utilize. So, so it's video just like these videos, except it's a file upload to the site.
Yeah. So that'll be done outside of Panopoly Media then?
Right. In a context such as this, you probably just want to install that module that has that source. You need to set up the media entity itself.
Yeah.
And then get it configured to work with the Handy browser, to where you can use it right within the content.
So I was just asking to see if this is something Panopoly Media handles, or have to use another source. Okay.
Yeah. Just all of the steps that we just kind of talked through, like that's what Panopoly Media really saves you. It has all that already done for these preset types of media.
Okay.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
All right, and then we can also see that once we save the content, the video is displayed right in the content. We haven't done anything really to address the video itself. That's all part of the video embed field module that has the field formatter that displays the videos in a playable format.
Does that field formatter have size, like video size settings?
You know, I'm not positive exactly what it has, but field formatters are probably one of my favorite things to write. All right. Any questions about the demo? Anything else we'd like to see with it? Am I missing anything awesome?
Are you going to show the IPTC stuff?
I certainly can. So one thing we just developed into this was the ability to extract some metadata from the image itself. The format, most people are probably familiar with EXIF format. That's actually more like technical information about the photo generally. With the IPTC stuff, we built a solution for IPTC is more like human information, like a headline, description, title, things like that. So we had a client that needed that done, so we built that into Panopoly Media, so out of the box you'll get that as well. I can show you an example of that. And just to make this a little simpler, I'm going to come into so this is just right into the ad screen, the ad form for image media. And let me find the right file. Please don't be anything embarrassing. All right, so this is one of the files that has some data on it. So we can see we upload the image file right off the bat. It fills in the name of the media entity, the alt text, and additionally description. So that's all information that was embedded literally in the image file.
So what's the format that data has to be in?
Well, it's a JPEG file,
Yeah.
and then the data itself is IPTC. That's the name of the standard or protocol that has it embedded in there. From what we understand, the photographers themselves enter it through the camera in some mechanism and then take the pictures. Yes?
Would that override any existing field content if there were any?
It would not. So that's it's a feature and a limitation. So if you, like if I were to remove this image and upload a new image that had data as well, the existing data would stay. So there's essentially just a one shot in this implementation. If you wanted a fresh image with its own data pulled in, just have to get a clear form and do the upload. All right. Yes.
How is the description organized on the site?
Right now, it's not really utilized at all. But in your implementation, however you render the media itself, so it's an entity with the fields, and this is just the field on the entity. So if you, when you embed it, if you choose to use a different display mode that has the description with it also, then that would show up with the media.
Is there a way to upload like the captioning file for the video? Closed captioning?
There's not, but that's an excellent idea.
I think like if you were uploading it to YouTube, that's where you would put you would give them the closed captioning file, and then from the Drupal perspective, you're just embedding the YouTube video.
But here it says you can literally create it here within this functionality.
Well,
So you're thinking like putting the transcript in the description field, that kind of thing?
No, not in the description field. Like if you actually have a file, instead of doing the open captioning going into the video, you actually upload it with a separate audio file, and that way the captions, it becomes like a closed captioning option for the user, for folks with hearing issues that cannot hear the video, they would see the visual description. Those are separate files that get uploaded with the video. Is there a way for Drupal to account for that?
Yeah, I don't know. Like Panopoly Media just does embedded videos, so you would be uploading that to Vimeo or YouTube. If you were doing like a raw video file, I don't know if Drupal can support that.
In some way or another, I'm sure it could support it. Whether that already exists or how much effort it would take to do that, can't really say.
And so obviously this works hand in hand with Panopoly, but you said that it's not dependent upon Panopoly?
Right, it's not dependent on Panopoly at all. I mean, Dave's our Panopoly expert. He's informed me that a number of sites use all sorts of these little sub-modules of Panopoly without using the distribution at all.
And it's Drupal 8 only?
Drupal 8.4 now.
Okay.
Yeah, right. All right.
Would it be worth showing the image gallery?
Yeah.
That would be a use of the description field.
I don't know. Do we want to pull up an existing?
You could do that as well.
Are they cool with that?
I think so.
Okay. So Dave just suggested that we pull up some image gallery functionality. This is built as part of the platform Round Earth that my WYSIWYG has been working on. We've got a client that's presenting this media in an image gallery. So there we will actually see descriptions being used. So here we can see they have an image gallery, and we can click into it, and there are a number of galleries here. So each one of these is a gallery. It's just a node of a gallery type, and then it references these various pieces of image media. So here we can see this is the Fremantle Women versus GWS Women's gallery node, and then there are a number of images attached to it. Fremantle versus GWS is the name of the image media entity, and then we can see it's got the description field down below on it as well. And it's got an amazing color box functionality.
I think that comes from the description to the text.
I think that's right, yeah. So this is just an example of how this media could be used outside of just the stock standard Drupal formatting that we saw on the demo of the empty site. All right, so
I noticed that when you were uploading images, there was a caption field on the media. If you filled in the caption and you filled in the description while displaying it, would you have a chance to decide which to display in your view mode, or would one override the other?
Let me pull that up, or did I close it? So I believe what you're referencing was when we embedded it into the WYSIWYG.
I don't recall exactly which instance
Okay.
it was generated. Whether it was the wiki in the WYSIWYG or whether
I think
it
it
was
was before you embedded it. You think you added an image and it showed the caption field.
So we actually added a video. I'm not sure how it handles the caption in that sense. I think it's more intended to be used for images.
I think it was when you were actually creating the logo.
Okay. So we can remove this one. We can re-edit. So we've got the existing version of it. We could select, we're not presented with that edit form at that time, so we'll upload a new one.
Or could you just go edit the media?
Yeah, you could edit the media, so that would edit that body field, but in addition to that, there's a caption that's utilized when you embed it in the WYSIWYG. So separate from the description field on the image media, there's a caption field that would essentially get kind of embedded with it. once again, you can see we upload an image. It's got the description field. Doesn't really do much for us in this context. If we go in here to the body field, where is it? There it is. So we've got our image here. We can select it. We could choose to left align it, for instance, and here we could add caption. And this is just essentially kind of a wrapper that gets sent with the image media when it gets rendered in the body field. This is our main image, and then down below here, you can see caption for the image comes up with it. Did we not align that? So we can see the caption that we typed in just for that embed appears with it. Luckily with the layout, it's in there. All right, so once again, this is the kind of standard solution that we're moving forward with in terms of Panopoly. One of the submodules that's kind of wrapped up, ready to go, while the rest of Panopoly is still kind of on hold. Panopoly is widely used. We'll see how it gets used in Drupal 8. These submodules are definitely fully functional, though, and could be used right along with it. Dave and I definitely believe in this. So we're using it on our Round Earth platform. So it's got various pieces of media handling built into it. The site we looked at a little bit earlier with the Australian football uses this. And that's, we've got a handful of customers already using this, and then we plan to take on a fairly large scale of customers using it a little ways down the road. So this is the media solution we've settled on, and I think it should be fairly useful for pretty much all cases.
Very good.
And then that is it. We've had a lot of good questions, interaction. Anybody still have anything more?
What's the Round Earth platform?
The Round Earth platform is a Drupal 8 Civi CRM solution aimed for nonprofits.
Aimed at what?
Aimed for nonprofits. So right now it's a distribution. We've got a number of clients already on it. Down the road we're trying to turn it into a SaaS type solution to where customers come in, spin up their own instance of it, and utilize it moving forward.
Plug the talk.
Excuse me?
Plug the talk.
Oh, there's a talk tomorrow morning about Civi CRM in Drupal 8. Dave is driving the car. Me and Elliot are riding shotgun, and so there'll be more information about Civi and Drupal 8 and our Round Earth platform.
So Round Earth is based on Civi CRM?
Well, it's based on Drupal 8, Civi CRM in Drupal 8.
Okay.
We think it's pretty much the first and only instance of it. Is that right?
No, that's not true anymore. There've been a couple more. I think we probably launched the first Drupal 8 Civi CRM sites, but there's been a couple more now.
Thank you.
No problem. All right. Thanks for participating.